Hi, good evening. My name is Teresa Yanjo. I am Community Engagement and Member Engagement at Haven. Thank you for joining us tonight and welcome to the webinar, Essential Tools for Life's Changes. This is brought to you by Haven and Ferro Battey LLC. We put this together because so many women are currently in some type of transition, loss of job, caring for a sick family member, working and supervising e-learning, relationship challenges, and the rest. So we just wanted to provide a toolkit and a support network to help.
Good evening. Thank you, Felicia and Teresa, for organizing this for all of us. We're next door neighbors to Haven, and we value our relationship with them as well. So our law practice focuses solely on family law, as Teresa said. So Olivia and I will be here tonight to give you some information regarding family law and kind of some tips generally. Obviously, with what we do, one of life's biggest transitions that people go through is a divorce. And then all of the things that go along with that. Regardless of whether you're going through a divorce or whether you're thinking about going through a divorce or, not planning on one at all, there's some things that we always advise clients or future clients of, some of which may seem obvious, some of which may not seem as obvious. Some things that are really important for women, regardless of the state of your marriage, are having your own bank accounts, having your own credit card accounts, and kind of having your own credit profile. We find that a lot of women, once they're married, everything becomes joint, or a lot of things are in their husband's name if their husband tends to be the wage earner. And this can cause a lot of problems if things aren't going well in the marriage later on, and whether that ends in a divorce or not, it can cause a lot of issues. So that's kind of a general piece of advice for regardless of the state of your marriage. When it comes to going through a divorce or any kind of marital issues like that, information is always the most important and most powerful tool that women have. And that's with regard to a variety of topics. One being financial. As I said, it's important to have your own accounts and to have your own credit profile. But for a lot of the women that we see, they might not be fully versed in all of the finances of the family, whether that be, what their expenses are, or where money is held, or what the family income is, and things of that nature. So even kind of a good life tip generally, but especially if you're thinking that you might be going through a divorce, having the financial information for your family and the knowledge of that is really important, and something that can really make you more comfortable with the process and help you navigate it. If you don't have that information, obviously it can be gotten through the process, but it makes people feel a lot more comfortable when from the start they have some kind of basic knowledge of that. That goes along with having knowledge of what documents you're signing during the marriage and what documents you have signed previously. We find that a lot of people sign documents that they have no idea what they mean. So people will have signed powers of attorney to their accountant to sign their tax returns, to their husband to sign various documents. They've quit-claimed houses because they have no idea they're signing a deed over. So regardless of the state of your marriage, we always say hope for the best, plan for the worst. Don't sign anything if you don't know what it is and you're not fully comfortable signing it. And it's easy when things are going along well to think, okay, this couldn't go badly, but it's really important that you know what you've signed, have a copy of everything that you signed, and know exactly what you're signing before you sign it. The last thing is having information about the process itself. Everyone knows someone who's getting divorced, and everyone comes in and tells us, about what their mother, sister, best friend, neighbor said about their divorce. And we promise you they have the best intentions and they're trying to give you good advice. But the fact of the matter is they're not objective, and they're only familiar with the specific facts of their own life situation or their own divorce. And those facts are always skewed by their own perspective. So one of the most important things you can do, even if you're not at all sure that you want to get a divorce, or if you're just, want more information, is talk to a professional. If you talk to a lawyer, it's all confidential, and they'll walk you through the process. They'll tell you, we'll tell you what to expect, what things to consider, advice on moving forward in terms of how to protect yourself if things don't work out later on. And all of that information can be helpful to you, whether you decide to pursue a divorce or your spouse decides to pursue a divorce or not. But having knowledge is key. Every case has its own facts, and every case is different in every way, whether it's parenting plans or the financial circumstances. There's no set roadmap for each case. So it's important to get specific information from a professional for your case. And that's probably, again, it's just gathering information, and the more you have, the better off you are. So now to give you a little bit more in the way of advice is going to be Olivia Eucalitto, who is a lawyer at my office.
Thanks, Janet. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. As Janet said, I'm just going to go over a couple more tips if you're contemplating divorce, or you're considering it, or you think you may be going down that path. And the first one may be obvious, but we're speaking from experience here and seeing some mistakes people have made. And that is, information is not as private as you might think it is. And where we often see this is, with the cell phone plan. Everybody has an iPhone. Everything gets uploaded to the iCloud. And that means that usually other family members, your children or your spouse, can access text messages, pictures, other things that you think are private and you may not want your family members to see. So be cognizant of that. Remember that in a lot of cases, it's easy to get that information, much easier than you think it might otherwise be. And along the same lines, remember that, or be careful about what you put in writing, in text messages, emails, Facebook posts, other social media posts, because if you have a day where you're particularly angry, write something that you might otherwise not want people to know or see, it could come back to haunt you. So just be cognizant of what goes in writing, what you send to your spouse or put online. Now is the time to be assertive and to stand up for yourself. And so when you're getting divorced or think you might be going down that path, you might feel overwhelmed and you might want to kind of keep the peace. But standing up for yourself doesn't mean that, you're not keeping the peace. And it's important to do so. It's important to be assertive. And you shouldn't feel like you have to relent or give in to what your spouse is suggesting as a means to keep the peace. And then the biggest thing I can, or most important thing I can say is a divorce does not have to be this crazy knockdown, drag out, contentious fight. 95% of our cases settle. You don't have to assume that the worst is going to happen to you because you're getting divorced. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And people we find are much happier once the process is over and they're on to new and better things.